What is up, my friends? How are we? You are very welcome along to Thursday night stream. As always, I'm here to answer any questions you have. We'll talk through the major topics surrounding Liverpool Football Club. Let's have a bit of fun this evening. I know it's been a tough month, hasn't it? Lots of ups and downs and will days and won't days. And then the result last night, of course, wasn't great either. But thankfully, it didn't really impact the season in a negative way, other than we didn't have the perfect start in the Champions League. Congratulations to PSV on their victory. And yeah, look, let's go through it tonight. We'll talk about what this summer spending might look like. We're going to ask this contract question over and over again, because I've convinced myself now that we might not keep the lads at the club. And that's not based off anything other than me being, I guess, a negative thinker. So we're going to try and figure that out. And I was reading some of the comments in the chat as well, saying that they're unsure what's going to happen with the contract to the three lads. So for me, look, I very much welcome spending next summer, you know that, but I don't want it to be spending because maybe some of the boys have moved on. If we get those contracts sorted out before the season ends, and there's 1, 2 or 3 good bits of business in the summer, I think most of us will be relatively happy. So yeah, we've a lot to get through today. We're going to be talking about players moving around as well, with regards to some huge offers coming in today at the end of the window. I mean, have you seen the offers Brighton have been receiving for Matoma? Up to £90 million from Al Nassr to go over there and play with Ronaldo in the Saudi Pro League, which is ridiculous. I mean, Matoma's a good player, but I mean, if I'm Brighton and they offer 90 million, I'd be biting their hands off for that money. Because I don't think they're going to get it anywhere else for a 27-year-old who has had some injury concerns as well. But wow, huge money. Then, of course, John Duran looks like he's on the way over to the Saudi Pro League as well. A medical schedule for him this weekend. We had Arsenal putting in bids for Ollie Watkins. So we'll ask, is anything going to come of that? We'll talk about Arne Slot. We'll talk about a strike that Liverpool have been linked to, but it looks like Brighton could be making a move for. We'll talk about that tonight as well. And then we have a few other bits and pieces. Jordan Henderson, there was apparently a move closing in on him going to Monaco. I'm not sure where that one currently stands though, because Romano said that here we go soon, but then Transfer Sector quoted Florian Plettenberg, I think it was it? No, the Telegraph, sorry, in the Netherlands, to say that they're putting the kibosh on that move and Hendo won't be going. So we'll figure all of that out as well as of course looking at the ramifications of our position in the Champions League and the 4 clubs that we know Liverpool may face in the round of 16. I'm very glad though we don't have the potential draw that City have, Real Madrid or Bayern Munich. Ouch, that's not going to be an easy round of 16. Joseph, how are you, mate? From Australia, lovely to see you in. You're heading off to school soon, thought you'd pop in and say hello. Appreciate it, have a good day. Always appreciate you dropping in, mate, to say hello. Some kind words from Arrigo Sacchi we're going to be speaking about tonight as well. He's been speaking about how impressed he's been with Liverpool and Arne Slot. Then we're going to be having a look at Bakayoko and some of his comments about possibly coming and playing for Liverpool in the future. So yeah, loads to get through. Stefan Bajcetic's loan with Salzburg has been cancelled as well. He's joining Las Palmas for the remainder of the campaign. That was confirmed today. And I'm going to be asking how on earth Eddie Howe has got into the January Manager of the Month awards when Arne Slot isn't in it. That really confused me as well. So we'll go through all of that tonight. I don't know how Slot isn't in the top 4 contenders for the Manager of the Month. It seems mental to me. So yes, look, we can kick off with whatever it is that you guys would like tonight. I'm in relaxed mood today. I promised myself I'm not going to come in and be angry. I'm not going to come in and start ranting about the owners again because, well, I think we're all a little bit tired of talking about them. They're not going to change their ways by the looks of it. I did see something today, though, that caught my eye in the Echo, and it was about the wage increase. And they tried to explain away the wage increase by saying it was because of Champions League bonuses, and I just don't understand how they've come up with that one. And they were also waffling on about some players who we've signed, and I put this to a financial expert, and I got the reply that, nah, BS and waffle. So, yeah, I don't know where they're going with that. I still will wait, I guess, for the actual papers to come out. Next month, I believe they're due to come out around Liverpool's finances, the full disclosure, and we'll talk about that in more detail then. LLJ, how are you, my friend? And thank you for our first super chat of the day. Really appreciate you. Said, I'd happily take Bakayoko. I think he's very underrated. He'd be brilliant under Slot. Well, I think we can safely say, looking at Bakayoko, he is somebody who has been on the radar. So it would not be a surprise whatsoever if Liverpool did eventually want to go and make that one happen. I've not really watched much of him, to be fair. He looked sharp last night. I thought he took his goal very well. Sold a little dummy to the two boys and then buried it into the corner. But other than that, I haven't really watched too much of the Eredivisie or him at PSV. But certainly got his goal last night and did not look out of place out there. Right, so we go straight into his comments then. If we're talking about Bakayoko, we might as well go straight into his comments. So, speaking about Liverpool and a potential move in the future, he said, I think that I can definitely join Liverpool. When asked if he was up to the level of Arne Slot's side, he said, we can be happy that we won against big names, but they didn't come with the strongest team either. It's a shame they didn't come with the strongest team. I'm in a good place. I feel the confidence of the entire club. As long as that is there, I feel good, whether I play well or badly. I would not make a move to Saudi Arabia now. I wouldn't do it, but you have to look at every situation. It's refreshing, by the way, to see an up-and-coming young player like that immediately rule out the idea of going over to the Saudi Pro League. I'm genuinely shocked that Duran is even weighing this up at such a tender young age. And, you know, he'd had a great start in the Premier League with Aston Villa since his move in. And to see him just going to the Saudi Pro League, it just doesn't sit well. I don't understand that one, unless it's the financial reasons, of course. Can you say hi to my mate Gary? I can. Did me a massive favour today. Love your work. Thank you. Well, look, it's always good if a mate does you a favour. So, Gary, well in, fella. Well in. Good to know there's still some good people out there doing favours for their mates. So, well in, Gary. And thank you, Sir Redders, as well. Appreciate you. Liz, how are you? Never half-ass two things, whole-ass one thing. Ron Swanson, be kind to my friend Craig. Me. Thank you, Liz. And yes, I agree about never half-assing one thing. I definitely agree with that statement. And anything Ron Swanson says, Liz, is always good with me. I do love a bit of Ron Swanson. Me and him share similar views on vegetarians. Right, I'm going to ask the first question of the night because I'm going to take the lead from you guys in the chat. So, 1 second. Right, first question of the night. You know we love a poll here on Anfield Agenda. Is, are you confident around the contract renewals? I want to know how people are feeling on that one. I want to give a little shout out to Lauren as well. I don't know if you're in the chat, Lauren. You were certainly in the Discord a while ago for trying to get me into a positive mindset. I appreciate you, Lauren. Thank you. Lauren doesn't like me doubting myself, and I appreciate her pulling me up on it and trying to keep me on the straight and narrow. In a good way, of course. What do I think of Barcola of PSG to replace Mo? I think it's difficult, Jonathan, because there's no doubt he's having a good season and there's no doubt that he's highly thought of, but I don't know enough about Barcola to know if he's going to be good enough longer term. So I'm probably not the best person to ask on that one, to be honest with you. But what I will say is PSG are one of the 4 teams Liverpool can play in the round of 16, and I am not one bit worried if we do play them, because I wasn't impressed watching them against City. I haven't been impressed a few times I have seen them, and I fancy us to beat them over the 2 legs, to be honest. Curtis said, hi Craig lad, I was shocked to see you in a hoodie that wasn't Adidas. It seemed so wrong. So, I'll tell you why. I mentioned last night that I had more of that hoodie in ages, Curtis, and I just found it in the wardrobe as well. But also, I had a feeling last night we weren't going to win. And I've been on this really good streak of wearing red Adidas hoodies on match days and Liverpool getting at least a draw out of it. So last night, I had a feeling we weren't going to win and I didn't want to ruin my hoodie. And this is from somebody who actually thinks of himself as not being superstitious, but that's probably one of the most superstitious things I could do there. So, yeah, that's why. Champions League finals in Munich, Steve, at the Allianz Arena in Munich. Adam, should we be in for Tell an opportunistic signing? Again, I'm really sorry I keep coming out with similar answers here, but I'll only ever be honest with you. I haven't watched enough of Tell to know. I've seen some Premier League clubs today linked with him. I think if I'm right around the 50 million mark, but correct me on that, Adam, if I'm wrong. So yeah, mate, I just don't know enough of him. You know, I haven't seen much of Bayern this season either, and yet alone him. But certainly there is a lot of movement in the forward department towards the end of this window, or at least a lot of interest in that side of the market at the minute. PSG 104, who are the rest? 1 second, Morton. I will grab this for you, bro. Bear with me. It's Monaco, Brest, PSG, and I can't remember who the fourth team was, mate. Just bear with me 1 second. I'm working off memory here. Where was it? It was Monaco, Brest. Did someone say Brest? Monaco, Brest, PSG, and God, I can't remember. Benfica, thank you. Yes, and Benfica. It'd be one of those four. We'll know tomorrow. The draw's taking place tomorrow. But yeah, Monaco, Brest, Benfica, or PSG. One of those four. Mido, how are you, my friend? Said, Craig, in your opinion, if you had to choose, which player would you bring in to replace Salah? Oh, God. That's such a tough question. Right, so I'm going to give you an answer, but I guess I got to start the answer with a caveat. Nobody, in my eyes, in world football can come in and replace Mo. Oh, excuse me. Nobody can come in and do it. So the name I'm going to give you is the name that I think would work in our squad, contribute to the front line, but the load would have to be shared around a bit. So I don't know why, but I'm very sweet on the idea of Bryan Mbeumo. I think it's because I love his work ethic, and I think it would work in our team. So probably Mbeumo, to be honest. I probably would have said Rodrigo from Real Madrid for the last 2 years, maybe. But right now, I don't know. I just, there's something about Bryan Mbeumo that I really like the look of. Nico Williams will be another player I'd happily have at Liverpool. But there's just something about Mbeumo that I just think would work in our team. You know, I said before about Jared Bowen. I've always thought, not now, it's moved on too long, but a few years ago, I've always thought Jared Bowen would have been an absolute seamless fit. Semenyo's a very interesting one. You know, I'm starting to really pay more attention to Semenyo over the last while, because there seems to be genuine links there to him. And I know a couple of other Liverpool fan accounts and content creators are quite optimistic on the idea of Semenyo maybe being a player that Liverpool would look at. With me, I don't know if it's snobbery around Semenyo because of the pathway through Bristol and all it's taken to get him to Bournemouth. But yeah, it's a good show. It's definitely a good show. See, Kudus, I'm not sure on. I see somebody in the chat mention Kudus. I'm not sure on him. I've watched Kudus a bit and I've seen some lazy streaks in him that I don't think would work for us. There's no doubt about the quality of the guy's football. You know, if he's at his best, he can be brilliant. But I don't know if he's consistent enough. And Mbeumo reminds me of Mane, said Philip. There's just something about Bryan Mbeumo. I think it's when I found out that he's only 24, actually, that really pushed it on. Because in my mind, he doesn't look like a 24-year-old. So I thought Mbeumo was about 27, 28. But when I found out he was 24, I'm thinking, oh, hello. I could see him in our team. Now, he wouldn't replace Mo's numbers. As I've said, nobody would. And I don't expect whoever may come in, hopefully 2-3 years down the line, will ever replace him. Because I think Mo's a unicorn. And I don't think you're going to be able to replace him. Somebody else had something in there that I wanted to get to. Kyle Ashcroft said, what do you think of Trent staying silent of his contract extension? Because if I'm honest, it's disgraceful being a Scouser at his boyhood club. The answer, Kyle, is that I'm trying to be respectful. Because Trent deserves that respect. But inside, I feel like it's a bit of a cop-out not to come out and state that you want to stay here. For a couple of reasons. The reason being, mainly, I feel if he came out and said, I want to stay at Liverpool, this is my club, but the offer on the table, I don't think reflects adequately my position, then I think you'd see a lot of fans supporting Trent and calling out the owners, like, where's the money? But right now, we don't know what Trent wants to do. We don't know if he's, as you said, just being silent to be respectful to the club. We don't know if he's been silent because he's weighing up the Madrid idea and the Liverpool idea and he doesn't know. We don't know if he's been silent because he does want to stay, but the offer that he has is nowhere near good enough. So we're all just trying to fill in the gaps at the minute. And it's unnerving. And it becomes more unnerving because it's a pattern of players not extending. And that concerns me, why we have no extension sorted out. So, yeah, I guess the answer is I'd like him to come out and say he wants to stay. And then I think he'd get lots of weight behind him and lots of momentum behind him to push the owners into giving him the contract. Yeah, that's it. And I think he's being a bit cowardly, as I've mentioned before. But it's difficult because we all want him to stay. I certainly want him to stay. But I can't say it hasn't rubbed me up the wrong way that he stayed this quiet. But then again, I may have no reason to be moaning about him because, as others have said, he's just being quiet and being respectful. I'm a little bit more cynical than that. Jonathan, how are you, mate? Jonathan Bowling, said, do you think we need to sign a more replacement who can get the goals and assists he brings, or could we get by with a good winger and a world-class centre forward? I think you have to go the second route, Jonathan, because I don't think you are going to find a Mohamed Salah replacement in the world at the minute. Not one that can come in and immediately not see a drop-off in the output. So I think you're right. You're going to have to share around the goals through the forward line. And honestly, I say this sincerely, I've never cared who scores the goals for Liverpool as long as we win the games. I'm not really that big on individual accolades and awards either. So I'm not fussed if somebody's chasing a golden boot or whatever. Or I just want the best for the team. And that's what you got, both of that with Salah. Yes, some people feel like he may be selfish at times, but he works hard for the team as well. So Salah for me has just been brilliant, and I don't think we can replace him man for man. So let's look at the poll that we put up. And I said, are you confident around the contract renewals? Because it's split in my Discord group. Some people are very optimistic, and I wish I was one of those people. Other people like myself are a little bit more pessimistic or unsure. Blair said, Craig, do you reckon any of the players out of contract stay? I'm starting to become seriously concerned. The answer to the first part is yes. The answer to your second part about being concerned is I'm right there with you. I can't see many logical reasons to drag this situation out much further. Because the players who are out of contract, when the window shuts, that doesn't stop them being able to talk to people now. Because they're inside the last 6 months. So between now and the end of the season, they, like, just as much as we can extend them at any point between now and the end of the season, they're also free to speak to anybody between now and the end of the season and sign that pre-contract agreement if they so wished. So, yeah, I'm very anxious about it because I'm going to read you from Arne Slot's comments about the summer window in a minute. And then I'm going to try and, I guess, tie all of this together for you. So bear with me. I just want to get this comment up from Chris before I forget. Defo the second route, we can't be afraid to lose Mo, said Chris Tatton. And thank you, Chris. Appreciate you. Member with us for 13 months. Thank you very much, Chris. So I'm going to, as I said, bring all this together with what Arne said. There we go. Right, so Arne Slot said this. In the background, we're working on strengthening the squad for the summer. That would mean that for the upcoming years, we will be able to challenge for every trophy we're playing for. Now, on the face of it, that's a great statement. You're like, all right, I'm upset that we aren't doing business now, but it is what it is. I can't really control that. But if we are 100% going to do stuff in the summer, good. Unless we're looking to strengthen players that won't be here anymore. That would concern me, and that's what I'm uncertain of. If we had the 3 contracts renewed and Arne said that, I'd be grand. I'd be a little bit annoyed that we didn't get a midfielder in this window, but ultimately I'd be thinking, right, the contracts are sorted out and the manager said that we're going to be doing business in the summer. That will mean that we will be, for the upcoming years, able to challenge for every trophy we're playing for. And as a fan, that's all I want. But as I said, all these things need context for me. And at the moment, he's saying that, but we don't know as fans who's staying and who's not. And I don't think that there is any way possible to lose 1, 2, or heaven forbid 3 of these lads and adequately replace them, and then add the few bits of quality in that we already needed before the contract situation. So I'd feel a lot calmer about it if he was saying this after some contract renewals. So yeah, that's why I don't know. But what do you guys think? You know, what did you make of the comments from Arna? Or maybe you've just heard them. I'll read them out to you again. Speaking on transfers, he said, in the background, we're working on strengthening the squad for the summer. That would mean that for the upcoming years, we'll be able to challenge for every trophy we're playing for. So thoughts on that? And then there was a piece in The Athletic that had an interesting headline, but was a little bit meek when I went into it. And it said, Liverpool have enjoyed a Champions League cash bonanza, so will FSG start spending it? It's a very good question. You see, Palf, you said, heard it all before. Exactly, my friend. There's only so many times that you can make that leap of faith, isn't there? For the next window. Because, as you've rightly said, and as many others have said in the comments and on many posts, we have heard it all before. You're right. And it'd be another window we've gone through where they've not spent any money after a window where they made a profit. So yeah, I get you. And I'm equally as weary of hearing that phrase. So again, I can't disagree. Everyone's saying talk's cheap. I agree. But it's one of these catch-22s, right, for us as fans, and particularly for me sitting here running a fan channel, doing live streams. What do I do in this scenario? Do I give the benefit of the doubt when every fibre of me feels like that benefit of the doubt has been wasted over the years? Or do I start cry-arsing and moaning and calling out owners non-stop and then annoying the fans? It's a tricky predicament, and I struggle with this every window because every window it's underwhelming. Other than that, to be fair, the last summer window of Kloppo was pretty good. You know, when we got in the boys, that was a good window. But I'll believe it when I see it is probably the fairest thing in the chat, because I'm not believing it too often. There's been a little bit too much of the boy who cried wolf kind of scenario here for me. Eddie Cox Wilkins said, talk is cheap, FSG is cheap. Cue that per can getting kicked down the road again. I know. And this is why we need people to start calling it out. And this is why over the past 2 weeks in particular, I've been very vocal on calling out publications and journalists and other fan accounts and channels who don't speak up, who have let this go for too long, who haven't challenged the narrative. And I feel like it's starting to see... Now, look, I might be deluded here, but I feel like it's starting to show some benefits. I feel like there are, at least on social media, from what I'm hearing, there's more questions being asked, more challenging of the journalist narrative, which should be there. Because, as we've said many times, the people surrounding Liverpool Football Club, covering it in the media, are mostly just sycophants who just do the club's bidding for them and then hope maybe that the club dangles a carrot in front of them and get a nice little cushy job. And you don't even need to guess at that one. Look at people who have both been a journalist, then gone work for the club, maybe still do, maybe don't, and they're still covering the Liverpool patch. That's not healthy, like I've said many times, and it's about time it start getting called out more and these owners got held to account. So, PSV the best. I'm all up for a bit of banter, bro. And fair play on your win last night. But, you know, if you wanted me to be an arsehole, I could just say, shut the fuck up, or we'll buy Bakayoko and you won't see him again. But I'm trying to be nice. I timed you out instead of banning you because I wanted to let you have your moment. Because fair play, it was a win and all that. And I'm delighted you got through to the next stage of the Champions League. But... you know, let's be honest about it. If Liverpool's first team was out there, we'd have wiped the floor with you. So, you know, congrats on the win and all that, but, you know, don't go too far with it. I heard the analyst on the money side of it in the club, and he said FSG were upset with their wages and how it worked in the baseball world. Yeah, but it isn't baseball, and nor should it ever become baseball. And the Americanization of football needs to fuck off. It just needs to stop. It's just too much at times, you know. Dave Downey, how are you, Dave, my man? Said, it's draining, isn't it, Craig? I just wish these parasites sold up and give somebody with an appetite for success a go. It is absolutely draining, Dave. Absolutely. You know, you go into, let's say, through December, I was really excited, you know, Dave. I was looking ahead going, right, great festive season of football. Transfer window just around the corner. Let's see what happens, you know. Will we get the one midfielder that we need? And then as the window goes on, and the chances of it happening become slimmer and slimmer, and people get more anxious, and people start arguing with each other, and I'm certainly part of that. It's draining, man. And then you know, I said this last night, and I'm going to repeat it again. I nearly gave up this month. And I mean, not in a, like, my usual kind of, I'm fed up of it all. I mean, I nearly gave up, just stopped the channel completely, because I was absolutely browbeaten. I felt like I was becoming a problem rather than a helpful person. I felt like I was becoming overly negative. I felt like I had so much self-doubt about what I was saying until Mo Chatra released his podcast and then came on ours. And then I kindly felt like, you know what? I'm not mad. I'm not imagining this. I'm not on my own. There are other people out there who certainly have a better understanding of the financials than I do that are calling this stuff out. And I'll tell you how bad it got over the last month. And I don't know if I said this yesterday. I don't think I did. But I started to look at some of the offers we've received for the channel over the years to sell up, you know, because I just felt like if I was being a burden to a fan base who I love and a club that I want nothing but the best for, maybe it was time for me to exit stage left and sell up and move on. So yeah, I'm still battling with that. Don't know what to do. You know, we've had a few expressions of interest to buy or invest into the channel over the years. And now, you know, we are number one. I don't know. As I said, I don't want to be a burden to people and I don't want to be a sign of negativity. But I can't keep quiet when I see stuff I'm not happy with. And these owners, man, it's not the players. It's not the manager. Nobody's questions about the lads that are playing and the coach. Love them. Brilliant. But these owners, man, they're taking the love of football away from me a lot of the time. Jamie Edwards said, sadly, Craig, I went into the window crystal clear we wouldn't sign anybody. Expected nothing less. How frustrating is that though, Jamie, you know? That with that browbeating that you felt that negative going into the window, mate. That's not a dig at you, by the way. Sorry, that's just, I guess, a reflection of what it's like being a Liverpool fan. I doubt most people here even remember Stephen Corker. Oh, I do. Absolutely. We played him at centre forward. Then went to Turkey. Had his battles with mental health as well. I've kind of kept track of Stephen Corker because of his mental health struggles and stuff as well. I'm glad to see he turned things around a bit. But I definitely remember him. There's another one of those very, very strange signings. I think might have been Jurgen's first signing. I know our first full-time signing wasn't him, but I think he was the first signing Klopp made. Philip said, we love you, Craig. Look forward to streams all day. Look, it wasn't about... It was just about me, you know. I didn't want to feel this way. Ash said, the Mo Chatra video said it all regardless of the ownership. Their model suits a much smaller club. We need owners with a set of nuts that want to win rather than just challenge. I don't even think they want to just challenge. I wouldn't even go that far. I think they just want that Champions League money every year. That's, you know, look back when we did spend quite significantly, it was in the summer after we didn't qualify for the Champions League to make sure that it didn't happen again. Yes, Marco Grujic. That was the one I was trying to think of. Nomad. Yes, he was the first proper signing, I believe. Was it 5.5 or something? It was quite low for him. When we brought was Red Star Belgrade we got him from. Liverpool Agenda said thoughts on our game strategy for Bournemouth. Well, I recorded the preview that's coming out tomorrow morning. I'm predicting goals in the game. I think it's going to be a shootout. And I think our best strategy is to just let it be open and go at them and bank ourselves to outscore them. Because, yes, they're in a great vein of form. I don't think we can go there and be timid. I don't think you can do anything other than go there and try and enforce your will on them. Because I think it'll be a shootout. So, I'm predicting goals in the game. Our record against Bournemouth has been very good over the years. I know that they've come off the back of a 4-1 victory over Newcastle and a 5-0 and a really impressive 5-0 victory over Forest. But we are still the team that's top of the league table. And we should be able to go there and get a result. Especially on such an important weekend that's in it, with the fact that we've rested 13, if you include Darwin, senior players from the PSV game. So all those things encompassed, and the fact that there's a huge game on the Sunday between Arsenal and City, I think we got to go and do everything we can to get the win. So I don't think we're going to get through it unscathed. I don't think that there won't be nervy moments in it, but I think we will just have too much firepower for them. Jacko said, we're top of the Premier League and the Champions League in year one with a new coach. We should be enjoying this, but there are worrying about key players walking out for free. That's the part of this moment in time, Jacko, that worries me the most, is the contracts. Because, as I said, if Arna says stuff's in the works for the summer, brilliant. But I need to know that that's off the foundation that we have, off the Virgil, the Mohamed Salah and the Trent. Don't want the spine of the team being ripped up, because don't forget we also have a new goalkeeper coming to the club and we don't know if he's going to be coming in to replace Alisson, to battle with Alisson. I don't know. So potentially you've an uncertainty around the keeper, an uncertainty around the best centre back in the world, an uncertainty around the best right winger in the world, and an uncertainty around arguably one of the best right backs in the world. And then it's hard to even think about next summer or any additions, because you want those sorted out first. One way or the other, by the way. When I say sort out, I mean, even if it's right, these lads are going, I think we need that mental answer so we can deal with it. But I would say this. If they do let these players' contracts go, even 2 of the 3, I think that they will have underestimated the backlash significantly that will come their way. This, I think, would be the straw that broke the camel's back if it happens and the players aren't renewed. One of them, they probably get away with. But 2 or 3, and I think it goes nuclear in the fan base. Keep your chin up, I like you, here is money. I love how simplistic all of that was. That whole sentence just was, I like you, cool. Keep your chin up, appreciate it, here is money. Straight and to the point, a man after my own heart. Thank you, Anthony, appreciate you. The problem is, though, Anthony, I don't like me. And that's the problem I've had in life, mate, all the way through, is I'm my own worst enemy. Right, I think we can end this poll. Are you confident on the contract renewals? 69% of people said no, and 31% of people said yes. And I very much wish mentally I was in that 31%. Russell, how are you, my friend? Russell said Hughes wants a new team. It's obvious he wants Semedo and Cherky and players like that. Russell, I don't think you're too far off the mark, mate. I don't think our mindsets are too far away on this one. But you know what really annoyed me about that is that we're going to pay a premium on those players that he's already brought into Bournemouth. And that frustrates me. Because every time we have to hear, Russell, that, we need to make every penny count. We need to be blah, blah, blah. And then we just throw money away by letting players go out the door on free deals, or by overpaying for players that we could have gotten a lot cheaper previously. Even the Virgil one still sticks with me. To know that Gary McAllister gave Brendan Rodgers the heads up about Virgil van Dijk when he was at Celtic, and that Brendan Rodgers didn't think he was going to be good enough for Liverpool, and he moved for 12 million quid or something to Southampton, and then we go and spend 75 million quid to buy him. Patrick said, Craig, did you see the cute interview on Sky with Mark McAdam? I haven't seen that one, no, because I'm not buying into it. And I've said this the other day, I've absolutely no ill feeling towards David Q whatsoever. He has been fired, his life's been in turmoil, he's had to face his own demons, and I wish him nothing but happiness. But I just get the feeling that the groundwork has been laid for them to try and get him back into football. And they can fuck right off with that. Regardless, I wish him nothing but the best. I hate to hear of what he's gone through. And he faced his own demons. His punishment has been served, and I think that punishment fits the crime, and I wish him no ill feeling going forward. But I don't like this bullshit PR that's been laid and the groundwork that's been laid. It just doesn't sit well with me. You know, who are we trying to convince by all of these PR interviews with David Koo? I don't understand the reason behind them. You know, one was enough, and in that one, he spoke about everything that we needed to know. You know, he came out as gay, spoke about his problems with drugs, spoke about the death threats and stuff he received, and we got the human side of it, which is understandable. But I don't know, I could be wrong. I just get the feeling they're trying to lay the groundwork to get him back in football, and no. Coots interviews a sympathy play, let's be real. Look, I think to some extent, yes. I always do try to look at the human side of these things, Jaden, as well. And I genuinely wouldn't wish addiction or some of those things on anybody. But that's what I say. I don't know what's the point of all this stuff. These interviews with him. One was enough. We got his side of it. Fair enough. It's always good to get all sides of this and, you know, understand everyone's perspective on it. And he seemed genuinely upset and contrite in some of his apologies. And as I said, I've no ill feeling as a Liverpool fan. I wanted the man fired because I didn't think he was fit to do his job. He has been fired. That should be the end of it for me. But that's why I said I didn't watch it, because I'm not sitting through more and more of this stuff. Especially at a time where I feel like football fans are being vilified by the broadcasters, mainly, around referees. I feel like we're being scapegoated once again for them ramming referee shit down our throats. And they go to the extremes of pointing out the people that make death threats to referees, and not one rational football fan in any way, shape or form thinks that's acceptable. Nobody does. So I don't understand why Sky run to the extremes of this shit all the time. I get death threats. I get threats every week. Most people on social media get threats every week, or at least get crap thrown at them every week. But we don't have police officers coming to our house to ask, are we okay and all. We just have to fucking get on with it, and it's shit, because it shouldn't be happening. Nobody should have to deal with this stuff. But if you're going to deal with it for everyone. If you're going to deal with hate on social media, don't just deal with it for athletes, pop stars, referees. Deal with it for all of us. Every single human being that has to be subjected to the vile shit on social media. Or just don't at all. Because I'm sick of fans being vilified. And I'm sick of Sky looking down their noses at the rest of us when they're ramming referee content down our throats that nobody wanted or asked for, and then have the cheek to talk about the scrutiny that referees are under in the modern day. And meanwhile, here's Ref Watch. Here's Mic'd Up. Shit nobody wants. Nobody wants to make these referees little demi-celebrities. Nobody gives a shit about them. We shouldn't even know their names. So I find it a lot of hypocrisy going on. And once again, not much inward looking. I don't see Sky looking to remove Ref Watch to help with the scrutiny on referees. Do you get where I'm coming from on this? Like, it just feels like, again, it's all us. It's all our fault. Poor Neanderthal football fans just, can't be left to be alone. Does my head in. Because, as I said, there's no rational-minded football fan that thinks any of that behaviour is acceptable in any way, shape or form. Philip said, I agree, Craig. I've suffered with mental health issues on and off for most of my adult life, and that doesn't give me a pass for appalling behaviour. Of course. And look, I've said this again, and I can only repeat it. To me, Coote was punished, and that's fine. I don't want anything else to come of it. You know, he lost his job. Let the man rebuild his life. I have no problem with any of that, but I'm just getting tired of the hypocrisies of so many legacy media brands and companies that it just does my head in. If Sky are that concerned about the well-being of referees, get rid of Ref Watch. Get rid of Mike Dean. Get rid of all of this stuff that just winds fans up. They're gaslighting us. They're saying, you know that thing that you seen at the weekend, that decision that really made your blood boil? Well, here it is again. Only for now, another person's going to tell you why you were wrong. And another person's going to back up his mate. And that's all it is. Never do I see them coming on there and going, that's absolutely appalling decision. That's a joke of a decision. There's always some fucking justification to try and explain away the nonsense. Like, the red card in the Arsenal game. The most ridiculous red card you've ever seen in your life, and it was rightly thrown out. But they tried to make a case for this shit in the media? To say that, it was a contentious... No, it wasn't. It was a basic yellow card for a professional foul stopping an attack. Straightforward. But heaven forbid the gospel according to Michael Oliver got questioned. Heaven forbid one of his little underlings sent him to the monitor. No, we couldn't have that of Michael, senior referee. Ollie couldn't be having that. That's the type of stuff that does my head in. Anthony said, running 5k a day will get rid of all the clutter in your mind. It's the best thing you can do. No, it's not. Mate, I've been there. I used to run 8k every day, and I still had the same thought processes and the same doubts and the same, hey, there is no simple fix for my mind, mate. I've been dealing with professionals for 25 years now, trying to figure it all out, and it isn't as simple as going for a run. I wish it was. I thought Ref Watch was country foul because of the smell of bullshit. It's just mad, like, you know, it's just mad. Let's go to a positive for a minute. Arrigo Sacchi, former legendary Milan coach, said, the team that impressed me most was undoubtedly Liverpool. He wrote in his recent column over in Gazzetta dello Sport, stopping the Reds when they accelerate is practically impossible, as their dominance in the Premier League shows. After the Klopp era, the new coach Slot has managed with great humility to maintain certain tactical principles of his predecessor and add a few small details to bring back enthusiasm to the environment. I think he's nailed it. You know, Arrigo Sacchi's known as a legendary coach who many top coaches like Guardiola and all look up to. And to hear him say that so emphatically about Arne Slot and the job he's done since taking over from Jurgen, it's great to have that recognition from somebody as well thought of and respected in the game as Arrigo Sacchi. Arthur said, I listen to you because you don't keep quiet. Thank you. Look, if I stick around and if, you know, I have a future in this, I'll be continuing to not stay quiet, because I can't do the stay quiet when I see something that I think is wrong. Stefan Bakayoko, Fabrizio Romano posted earlier on to say, Bakayoko leaves RB Salzburg as loan has been broken and joins Las Palmas on new loan deal from Liverpool. He's already agreed to join Las Palmas with immediate effect. I'd seen somewhere that he hasn't started a game for Salzburg since like 8th of December, something like that. So, you know, there was no break in the agreement. There was no January break clause in there. So Salzburg did have to agree to it, and they've agreed to part ways because they did pay a loan fee as well for the services. So now he'll be off to Las Palmas. Apparently it came down to a decision for him between Las Palmas and Porto as the two clubs who were closest to getting a signature for the remainder of the season. And Getafe, I think, was another club who were interested. Naturalist said, did you see Arsenal's being charged for bad behaviour of the players over the red card? I did. It's one of those catch-22s though, because it's probably right to charge these players or any players, and you know, I can get it from the FA's perspective. You don't want these scenes, even though the referee was wrong. I get it. And that's not an anti-Arsenal thing. I would understand if it was Liverpool as well. But it was such an egregious decision that it does, and it must feel like a little kick in the nuts to Arsenal fans and Arsenal after the red card has been rescinded as well. Jones' red card against Spurs last season was supposed to be the making of refs' lives easier with automated offside, but that's still not working. Yeah, that's done my head in as well. That was supposed to be in at the start of this season. Then it was supposed to be in October. Then it was supposed to be in around Christmas time. And now it's probably not going to come in until next season. Yeah, so I agree with you. It's again, we're lagging behind. We're lagging behind with VAR as well. Probably a year behind most of the other major European leagues. Squeaky clean. Whatever happened to semi-automated offside coming to the Prem? Hope you're having a great night and we get 3 points of the weekend. Yeah, I was just speaking about that one. Probably good timing for your post, and thank you for being with us as a member for 11 months. As an Anfield Agenda Ultras member as well, mate. Thank you. Yeah, it's you just keep hearing it's not ready yet. They're not happy with it. So, we're gonna have to just wait. Do you think we get somebody in the last few days? No, not at this point, Shannon. No senior first team player anyway. The window's open till Wednesday. It is Wednesday, isn't it? 31st, Monday. The 3rd of January. I'll try that again. 3rd of February. The window's open till. But no, I don't expect anything to happen. I don't understand what that post is, Monkstown Glass. Your truth of YouTube rest just want a pat head. I have no idea where that's going. Where is this one? Mythical Returns. How are you, my friend? Another really long member with us as well. 17 months as an Anfield Agenda Ultras member. Thank you so much. Really hope Stefan can get back to his best at Las Palmas. Will be a great addition to our squad next season if he gets enough minutes. I definitely agree. Look, I'm a big fan of him and would love him to come good and get a chance. Manager of the month for January. The nominees are Mikel Arteta, Pep Guardiola, Eddie Howe, and Andoni Iraola. Now, make that make sense, please. How is Eddie Howe in there? And Arna isn't. Genuinely. They were trounced by Bournemouth 4-1. Drew with us. And we've drawn a game and your air manager isn't in there. Please somebody make that make sense to me, because that does not seem correct to me. Do you think we're going to finish strong? Would love this to be down Slot's approach. Do I think we're going to finish strong? So, Russell, I'm just reading your comment about the moderators. I don't think my moderators are on a power trip. They're just trying to remove angry, toxic comments towards other people. And what you class as a reasonable argument, they clearly don't agree with. So, there's only got to be one outcome in this scenario with me, mate, and that's I'm going to back my moderators because they do incredible stuff. And, I regret that maybe you don't feel happy about their decisions, but they have my full support, as they always do. And they aren't on a power trip. They're under instruction from me to keep the chat in a specific way, especially at a time where there has been a lot of anger and toxicity in our fan base towards each other, and we're trying to just get it to a better place, particularly with the time that's in it. So I hope you understand where I'm coming from. I interact with you all the time, mate, and even when we disagree, I never have any issues with you. But on this one, I'm going to have my moderators back all the time. Right, where was I? What was I speaking about there? Oh, yes, finish the season that Danny asked me. I think we're going to win the league, Danny. How much of a margin that's by yet, I don't know. But I do think this weekend is huge. Really big. Because if I'm an Arsenal fan looking at this week, you know you have a tough game against Man City, right? But you're looking at Liverpool and thinking, there's a good chance they might drop points against Bournemouth. And if they can drop points, that would then give a lift to Arsenal players and their fans ahead of that game, and I'm sure would make an incredible atmosphere in what will be a huge game. And if they beat Man City, then momentum moves. So I think it's really important that we win at Bournemouth and put the pressure back on their shoulders the next day. And if we can do that this weekend, then yes, I think we have a good strong finish. And I'll also love to see the map out of the Champions League draw as well, because it looks promising enough there that could be a decent enough route through for us as well. And then we have this Thursday coming up, got the second leg of the game against Spurs, and if you can turn that round and get to another cup final, that would be great as well. So yeah, definitely has the possibility to finish very strongly. Right, 1 sec. Right, I did mention at the start that I was going to talk about a forward that Liverpool have been linked with that another club are moving in for, and that is Stefanos Tsimas, the youngster that we spoke about, who's on loan at Nuremberg from PAOK. Apparently now he's leaning towards a move to Brighton after having talks with Fabian Herzler, or how do you pronounce his name? Herzler. There you go. Herzler, yeah. And Evan Ferguson looks like he's going to be going out on loan, I think, and Leverkusen are interested in him if they lose Boniface. But again, you're looking at another player there that Brighton could make a move for and have been doing work on, even though he's a player we've been linked with a little bit as well. So again, why are we procrastinating forever? Hi Craig, do you see us signing Hato and Kirkes this summer? I'm all in for our defenders. Well, I'd love us to, but, Kirkes was the one that came out himself and said, I will not go to Liverpool. I repeat for people listening, I will not go to Liverpool. And he's a United fan. Now, I don't know if he meant that just by this window, or if he meant he just has no interest in ever going to Liverpool. So I don't know the answer to that one. On Hato, I do have a feeling that may be one of the deals in the summer. Again, I just hope though that it's with a Virgil van Dijk extension. So we may lose Joe Gomez in the summer as an example. So are we going to accept the situation where if we lose Gomez, we replace him with Hato, and then we still haven't really added much more depth to the centre back position, albeit maybe you've added a younger person in there. And I also have questions around Joel Kwanzaa, because this has been a very up and down season for him, where I'm still not convinced. Isa said, hi Craig, hope all is well. Did you see the Mitoma to Saudi links? It's crazy. Yes, it's nuts. 90 million. Like, 90 million. That is insane to me for Mitoma. 90 million pounds as well. This here said, breaking, Al Nassr already readying second and final offer worth up to 90 million pound for Karo Mitoma. He's not worth 90 million quid. Not at all. Russell said, the thing that worries me is that we won't offer big enough contracts compared to other teams. Yeah, I can definitely understand that concern, Russell. Especially when it looks like we're doing everything we can to lowball the ones who are already on big money after moving on some other big earning players over the years, like Firmino, Mane, Thiago, Henderson, Milner, and we could probably carry on with that list. It definitely, anybody who has a mindset that they feel like Liverpool are looking to have a Michael Edwards-led reset where everything is younger and cheaper, I can understand. The question, I guess, comes in, do you believe enough in Edwards' methods that younger and cheaper may also mean hungrier with a lot to prove? I don't know where I am on that one. to be honest with you, because yes, Edwards has proven to do some good work over the years, but I just can't get away from the contract renewals, Russell, and the cheapness of this situation, because I guarantee you those lads have been lowballed. I thought Boniface wasn't going to Al Nassr. It was either him or Duran. I didn't necessarily say Boniface was definitely going to Al Nassr, but his contract situation is one that has been a consideration. Now, Al Nassr, of course, as you've mentioned, have been the club most strongly linked, but I think that there was other interest behind the scenes that maybe Leverkusen were looking to figure out. But you're right about what you said about the Al Nassr thing. Jaden, how are you, my friend? Jaden said, when will Saudi understand that they can buy players to the league but not fans? I don't know, mate. There's a couple of things for me that just go against the idea of that league ever taking off. The climate is one of them. I just don't think it's conducive to top level football, and I just can't see it working. I just can't. I think they can keep plowing money into it all they want. It's their country, it's their money, they're free to do what they want with it. But I don't think it's ever going to get to a point where it becomes a big player like La Liga, Premier League, any of those. I just don't. I can honestly say that I haven't watched any of it since the big players have gone across. I've only looked at all of those players with more resentment for chasing the bag. That's it. I understand the ones at the end of their career, like Ronaldo and Neymar. If they're stupid enough to give these lads ridiculous contracts on obscene amounts of money, fair enough. Take it, get paid. But, you know, when you see players like Duran going over there or other young, talented players, it's saddening for me, because they're just not going to be in the eyes of many people. They're just not going to be watched. They're not going to build that same profile of superstardom that you have to be in Europe to do. But then again, it depends on your motivation, your career, right? Some people are in it for legacy. Some people are in it for money. And I'm not saying one's right and one's wrong. It's a very personal thing. Especially if you come from a level of poverty that maybe we couldn't comprehend, you know? And sometimes that is the case, where people are looking after a lot of people. And in that situation, I absolutely understand chasing the money, because it can change generations of your life. But I struggle when, like, Hendo went running off to Saudi, as an example, with this guise that he was spreading the beautiful game bullshit. That never sat well with me. Just admit you're going to take the pay and just go. Do you feel if we get Bakayoko, it'll be another Fabio Carvalho move? I feel it would be unfair of me to say either way, because I don't know enough about Bakayoko. All I can say is what others have said in the chat. There's been many links to him over not just this last window, previous windows as well. And it does seem like it'll be a matter of if and not when he moves to a big club. But you're still getting an insane amount of money every week playing the normal leagues. Oh, I know. Look, the money that they get in the Premier League to you and I is scandalous, you know? How many times are we on here saying things like, as an example, Omar Marmoush was only on 35 grand a week at Frankfurt, and now he's on 350 grand a week at Man City. I mean, I wouldn't mind being only on 35 grand a week. That'd do me very nicely, and I'm sure all of you guys as well. I don't ever watch a match without having your stream on. Hope you never stop, man. I'd be a liar if I said I hadn't listened to some interest in the channel over the last month or two. And I don't know what the future holds. I don't, because, as I said, it's been a very difficult month for me on a personal level. and I hope I can rebound back from it. But if I can't, you know, I'll have to do what's best for my family. But I love this dearly, and I think we've got more growth left in us as a community and as a channel. And I haven't done what I've wanted to do. I haven't finished the journey I started yet in this, but you know, I can't be this angry, bitter person all the time in my family life as well, because of how frustrated I've become. The club I love being rinsed by owners who really just, I don't think, give a fuck. Barry said, looking forward to the draw tomorrow for the Champions League. Yeah, I'll do a video on it at about 3:30 tomorrow. I'm not going to watch the draw, to be honest, because we'll figure out which one of the four we get and go from there. It is mad thinking that we won't be playing again in the Champions League now till March. That feels so far away, even though it's the end of January. Like, it just feels so far away, March. Kareem, how are you, my friend? Much love over to you as well. My thoughts are with everybody actually in the States, mate. I seen that plane crash. Incredibly sad. So yeah, thoughts, of course. Not that it's worth much to people, but you know, certainly I know a lot of people are saddened by what happened over there with that plane crash. And of course, obviously, the fires in California as well, man. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world that makes you really think, doesn't it? Makes you grateful as well for the security and the safety that you have in your life. You know, I moan about being cold here in Ireland a lot, but there's never really much extreme weather or anything that I need to be concerned about my family's safeties or anything like that. Move to Spain. That's in the future, mate. That's in the future. I'm in the process at the minute of starting to buy this house that we're in. And that, I guess maybe that's why I'm kind of flirted more with the idea of a sale of the channel a little bit more over the last while. Or maybe an investment, I don't know. Do you know what I couldn't do? I don't think I could sell the channel and stay working on it for somebody else. Because I know as soon as they make a decision that I think is the wrong direction, I'll end up getting annoyed about it. I know this sounds really corny and fucking cheesy, but I don't want to be a stain on our fan base. I don't want to be a troublemaker. I don't want to be somebody that people look at with hate. Because I don't want to be that guy. Is it possible we sign someone in January? No. I mean, if you're talking about the winter window that runs the 3rd of February, perhaps at an outside chance, but I'm certainly not expecting it, no. Even the old opportunistic side of it, I think we've gone quite deep now where it looks as if there'd be nothing happening. What's the news about Bakayoko? So, his own words, he was asked about, do you think one day you could go to Liverpool or a club like Liverpool? And he said, I definitely think that I can join Liverpool. We can be happy that we won against big names, but they didn't come with the strongest team either. It's a shame that they didn't come with the strongest team. I'm in a good place. I feel the confidence of the entire club. As long as that is here, I feel good whether I play well or badly. I would not make such a move to Saudi Arabia now. No, I would not do it, but you have to look at every situation. If you add that into the fact that we've been linked with them for quite a while, it's worth a talking point anyway. Craig, I hate to admit it, but with how ruthless Arne is with his players, I'm really doubtful Nalo will be seeing the Liverpool shirt again. Nah, I don't agree with that one. Any coach, the first thing they would have done there last night was one, reassure young Nalo very quickly, and then you'd sit down with him and say, look, that was a worst case scenario for you there. You went on, made your debut, you got sent off. It isn't going to get worse than that. But how you deal with it and how you come back from this is what's going to make you as a player. So learn from it. Watch the video of what you did wrong to get yourself into that position where you were making that challenge, and then we'll fix it and work on it again. So I personally think it'll be a very pivotal moment in his career. I think he will bounce back from it, and I think Arna will help him on that path. You know, you don't throw young players like that under the bus. And Arna's been in the game long enough that he obviously thought enough of Nallo to put him in that squad and bring him over. And I think he'll talk him through the process. Now, whether we see him again or not this season, I don't know. But I certainly do think it's an arm around the shoulder and a teaching moment. Carl said there's always a chance we can sign someone in the winter window if they come cheap enough or for free. Do you have any preferred signings for the summer? I find it really difficult, mate, to talk about the summer window without knowing the contract situation of the boys that are here. You know, if you told me they were all staying, I'd probably be again looking... Do you know, I'd probably look more at defence because there's every chance that McConnell, Bakayoko, can be that supplemental midfielder moving forward. I was incredibly impressed with James McConnell last night. I thought he was brilliant. And I know Arna was as well. So yeah, I think you could maybe supplement midfield with one or two of them. But then the defence, I do think still, the left-back situation, I think, as many have said, Kirkes, I liked Kuiper from Club Brugge. And then a centre-back, whether that's Hatter or not. And I also want to know what the hell's going to go on with the goalkeeping situation, because I've no idea what the plan will be with Mamardashvili. You know, we haven't really had that discussion yet. Sean said, nearly 300k, Craig, you're only getting started. But I'm what? About 7 years into the content journey at this point. It's only kind of really become a job in the last 18 months or so, but yeah, it's been a long time to get to this point as well. Taking a lot of graft and sacrifice and effort and support from you guys along the way. Klopp sipping Arsenal tears, need a DM. Look, I'm not saying we don't need a DM. What I'm saying is, I'm not sure whether the plan will be that Bakayoko or McConnell or somebody else can become the rotationary player for Gravenberch. My concern is that I just don't want Gravenberch run into the ground. And ideally, yeah, we'd have got Zubimendi in and we'd have ploughed ahead and used one or the other, both of them or whatever. But I got to try to be fair about it and say that I've always seen the player in Bakayoko. I've been incredibly impressed with McConnell. And normally, I'm not really one to say don't make a signing, but I do think that there is potential quality there that at the very least needs to be looked into a bit further before revisiting again. But the defensive side of it, I think that there is definitely a need there now to sort out the left back situation. We may have to sort out something in the right back situation, and as I said, the goalkeeping department is up in the air a little bit. Jaden, said, I will be content with no signings, but the contracts make me pissed. I think I would have been much more at ease with no signings in this window with the contract sorted. But now, like, do you know what rubs me up the wrong way? Anybody saying that it's not a problem. Anybody saying that people are professional. Anybody saying that it's not weighing on the players' minds. Or it doesn't have the ability to destabilise a dressing room. I'm just too cynical a human being to believe that. Because it has to be on their minds. Mohamed Salah's already said it's on his mind. And the longer it doesn't get sorted, the more I feel there's an opportunity for it to become bitter. And people to get angry and feel unloved or undervalued by the club. And I'm out of ideas as to why these contracts haven't been done. I can only come to the conclusion that they're trying to lowball them and that maybe they don't want them to extend. Wayne, I'm good, thank you, mate. How are you? I appreciate you calling me a legend, mate. Thank you. I think Tyler Morton was also good when he came on. Yeah, he was. There's been lots of talk on Tyler Morton going out one way or the other this month or this window, maybe on loan, maybe permanently. I don't think he's ever going to cut it at Liverpool personally. I think now is the time to make that decision and let him go and have his career somewhere. I feel more confident looking towards McConnell or Bajcetic personally, but you know, it's Arna's opinion that's the most important. Donald said, "You're not a stain. You're fantastic, and I'm proud of you. But stop with the I think I'm going to stand your ground and show the rest you're strong." Thank you, Donald. What do you think the result will be in the Airways derby this weekend? I hope Man City beat them because I think that benefits us more. I don't see Man City clawing back the points they'd need to on us, which stands at 12 now plus a game in hand. So I'm confident they're not doing that. They might get closer to us, but they're not catching us. So yeah, I think. What do I think will happen though? A 2-2 draw or a narrow Arsenal win. Groovy said, I wasn't able to watch the match last night. Can anybody update me on Endo's performance? It was a tough game to gauge because so many players out of position, so many changes. I thought there was a lot of energy in the first 30 minutes and I was quite impressed. But then the second half was so strange, that game last night in the second half. It just kind of petered out into insignificance, and the changes that we made off the bench kind of stopped their momentum. And then, of course, you had the late red card. But Endo was okay. You know, I think the fairest I can be is okay. The standout performers there for me last night were McConnell, Chiesa, and I thought Elliott did well for about an hour. Does anyone know which teams were more likely to play in the round of 16? Yeah, it'll be one of four. It's guaranteed to be one of Paris Saint-Germain, Benfica, Brest, or Monaco. One of those four. We'll know which one exactly tomorrow. But, well, we'll know which one of two, actually, I think, tomorrow, because they have to play in the playoff round. But we'll know which one of those, which pair of those four will have a chance to play. Do you know what the really frustrating thing is? Somebody emailed me last night to say, you know, if we'd have drawn that game, Craig, it would have moved PSV Eindhoven up into Paris Saint-Germain's place. And Paris Saint-Germain wouldn't have been in the groupings as a possible opponent for us. So it would have been PSV Eindhoven, Benfica, Brest and Monaco. Yeah, that was frustrating to read and think about that because, of course, you know, we still finished top and all, but Paris Saint-Germain could be, you know, a more difficult tie than you probably expect, albeit I do think we'll still beat them. Biggie Mall said, it's always Benfica. I'm just praying we get Brest, just for the watch along. And for the research that I'd put in beforehand, you know, researching Brest. We had a good half hour on that last night. I really enjoyed that, by the way. That childish banter we had last night around that. That was good. It was a good distraction from the boring second half. Hoarder, always lovely to see you in, my friend. Love right back to you there in Iceland. All about the research, Craig. Let me know what you need, any help. Yeah, you know, I'm thinking of getting a Pornhub Premium just to make sure, you know. Imagine you got them to sponsor the video as well. That would be class, wouldn't it? Welcome to our preview here. It was Liverpool taking on Brest and brought to you but thanks to our friends at Pornhub. Craig has done his research for this one and this is what we found. Actually on that, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, the link, top of the chat, still there. We're still trying to raise that money for Joe's wheelchair basketball chair. And remember, if you donate £5 or more, you'll be entered into a draw where we're going to give away a £500 Amazon voucher. So we're going to keep plugging away to try and get that money for Joe. But anybody who donates, if you donate anonymously, obviously, you know, fair play to you, that's brilliant, but we can't put you into the draw. But if you do make a donation of £5 or more to Joe's Just Giving there to try and get that new wheelchair basketball chair from, we're going to throw in a £500 Amazon voucher as a little incentive to try and help get to the target for Joe. And it's pinned to the top of the chat right there now if anybody wants to make a donation. Would you take David from Lille if Nunes left? I'd want better, to be honest with you. You know, it would just feel again like a very cheap option. Well, it would be a free option in that scenario, wouldn't it? No, I wouldn't. I'd want better if he left. I would have wanted Marmoush, but obviously City went and got him, so that's not an option for us. But yeah, no, I think we could do a bit better than Jonathan David. If Liverpool still wants a DM, I think Samuel Ricci is the profile. Yeah, we spoke about him a while back. Is it Torino? No, who Samuel Ricci was playing for? I can't even remember, but we did speak about him a while back. He was a name that was linked, I think, linked to another Premier League club as well. Was it Torino? I can't remember off the top of my head. Cunha or João Pedro? I don't think João Pedro is good enough. I don't. And I'm unsure on Mateus Cunha. Maybe. But I just don't think João Pedro is good enough. Isak, but 150 million is a joke. Agree. Would love Isak. Would still have some concerns that, you know, he might miss some games with injury. But yeah, you're right about the 150 million. Is Stiller an option? No, he signed a new contract the other day with Stuttgart. Sorry, I have it here in my notes. Where is it? Where's the Angelo Stiller thing? I think I've gone too far back. There it is. Yeah, so they posted the other day, Stuttgart, to say Angelo Stiller signs contract extension. Stuttgart have extended the contract of midfielder Angelo Stiller by a year, keeping him at the club until 2028. Now, that doesn't mean you couldn't still buy him, but I guess it becomes a little bit more expensive now that he's extended his contract by a year. They probably want more money. After having Nunes, a striker scoring is an uncommon occurrence. I want the clinical finisher. I get you. I'm with you. But I think it's a position that is at a premium in world football at the minute. You know, you see Arsenal struggles to try and find a striker. You've seen, you know, the money on offer to Aston Villa to sell John Duran. You've seen the offer come in then as well for Villa from Arsenal for Ollie Watkins. And you've got Ivan Toney who ran off to the Saudi Pro League as well. Matoma may end up over there. I know he's not a striker, but he's another attacking player. Yeah, it's difficult. There's not really, if you think of world football now, outside of maybe, you know, Harry Kane, who's at the latter part of his career, there's not a whole lot of Haaland obviously going nowhere, 9.5-year contract at City. You wouldn't say the world's full of world-class strikers at the minute. Oh, it's Bologna for Ricci. Thank you. Thank you, Asif. Appreciate that. William said, if you could sign any one player, who would it be and why? Any one player. Probably Yamal, Pedri, Gavi, just trying to think of what we'd need in our squad. Camavinga, I wouldn't say no to either. Rafa Leao, you know, would be an exciting addition in attack. Isak's a great shout as well. People are saying Bellingham. You know what? I know this is going to sound like just a salty answer, but I've actually grown to dislike him and his attitude at Real Madrid. At least how he's coming across to me as a viewer. I've grown to dislike him. If we want to win the Champions League, we can't be scared of playing PSG next round. Agreed, Brendan. And we beat them as well, mate. Second leg would be at Anfield, so you do have that bonus as well. Look at City though. City are going to play either Real Madrid or Bayern Munich. Ouch. That's not going to be good for them, and they'll have the second leg away from home as well. So they're either going to have to go to the Allianz, where Bayern fans are going to be smelling blood and knowing that the final of the Champions League is there, or they're going to be going to the Bernabeu, where, you know, Real Madrid are going to be, again, wanting to put the knife in. So that's going to be a very tough fixture, whoever they get, City. A few other good shouts in the chat as well. Balde, Rodri be great. Yeah, it's a good shout. Wouldn't say no to Rodri. He is an exceptional player. Even you could probably hose the Man City off him, to be fair. Is one of Madrid or Bayern getting knocked out? No. It's more a case that it'll be one of those that are the option. So it depends which side they're going to go on. So Madrid might be on this side, Munich on this side, and then it'll be for City. So no, they're not playing each other. They're just the two possible opponents. Surely it's on Rodri if you could sign any player. Yes, but as somebody else pointed out, you know, what is he now? 27, Rodri? And coming back from an ACL, you know, if you can get him back to that same level, 100%. But, you know, you don't know which way he's going to come back or how long it might take. But yeah, he'd certainly be up there in the consideration. As an Englishman, I cannot compute what you said about Bellingham. You know how much I wanted Bellingham and how much I rated him, but I feel like since he's gone to Madrid, whether this is salty me or not, I just feel like, I don't know him on a personal level, of course, but I feel like he's fit into the entitled whole Real Madrid vibe very quickly, and you know, he's already chirping at the referees like Madrid players are, and yeah, I mean, I read something the other day that said that Saudi Pro League are preparing a €1 billion package to try and bring Vinicius Jr. to the Saudi Pro League. I'm going to say that again. A 1 billion package. 1 billion. Between wages and the transfer fee. I mean, fucking hell. That is nuts. Trevor said, I don't believe there's a big summer ahead. Been told that many times but never happened. We're not fools. I know, it's hard to have faith, isn't it, Trevor? It's hard to give the benefit of the doubt in these situations. And as I said earlier on, when I start talking about Arne Slot's words, which, you know, I'll read back out now in case people are joining us a bit late. Arne Slot said, in the background, we're working on strengthening the squad for the summer. That would mean that for the upcoming years, we'll be able to challenge for every trophy we're playing for. That's great on the sounds of it, but my fear is I want that to be on the back of knowing these contracts are extended and not we're going to go out there and have a bit of a rebuild that refreshes the age of our centre-back and our right winger and our right back, because that I'm not buying into. If it's bringing in a couple of additions that will push us on, brilliant, but it can't be at the expense of these lads being let walk out the door for free. That's my concern with it. You know, I want to believe what Arne is saying. I want to have faith in him. And it's not really him I'm doubting. It's the owners. Do you reckon Alisson is leaving because of Mamardashvili coming in? I don't know. I don't know what to think with it. But I know Mamardashvili is not going to want to come in to be number 2. And I know Alisson's certainly not going to want to be number 2. And I know Kelleher's going to be moved on because he'll have 1 year to go on his contract, so he'll be sold. So yeah, I haven't got a clue what the plan is there. Ideally, I would like at least 1 year with both of them. Alisson and Mamardashvili to see how he settles in, but I've not really heard an explanation as to what the plan is going to be in the goalkeeping department from anyone. Would I take Hakimi? No. I can't really say why on a stream, but it's nothing to do with football. Code Mastery said, "Hi Craig, how's the family do? My mum was cracking up yesterday after those breast jokes. She couldn't stop laughing for 30 minutes. She said thanks for the entertainment." Good, I'm glad, man. It brought a smile to my face as well. Yeah, I think deep down, no matter how old we get or, you know, how professional our jobs are or whatever, I think we're all just children deep down. I mean, we need to have these moments where we have these silly little giggles. So yeah, I'm glad your mum got a smile out of it, and thank you for sharing that. Appreciate it. Any more news on Ederson from Atalanta? No, not from us anyway. The last thing I'd seen about him was, again, Manchester City looking to try bring him in, but I don't know if that'll happen or not. I really haven't been paying much attention to it. Thoughts on Haddo as the answer at left back? If that's who Arna wants, then brilliant. We do need to bring in a left back, and something needs to give there between Robbo and Costas. So yeah, if Haddo's the one that they want to bring in and move on one of the other two lads, I'm absolutely behind that. If that's what Arna wants to do, because we do need a reset at left back. I'm not sure which one's more likely to go between Robbo and Costas. You know, my head thinks Costas is more likely, but then would Robbo want to maybe play second fiddle for large parts of the campaign at the tail end of his career as well? So unsure, but yeah, I wouldn't be against it. Have you seen anything on the left back, 21-year-old from Benfica? No, not personally. I've kind of stopped looking into transfer stuff at the minute because I'm so disillusioned by the contract situation and angry about it, that the idea of these owners spending any money. Yeah. Look, I can't be any more honest about this. I despise them, the way they run the club. And I can't be any clearer about it than that. I don't see any goodness in them. I don't see any good intent in them that isn't to look after their own financial interests. I don't see any hunger in them for success. I see excuse after excuse, a fan base that's divided, and it pisses me off because it shouldn't be this way. But some people are very much of the mindset that they saved us, or, you know, that they're not the worst owners in the world. And I admit, they're certainly not the worst owners in the world. But that shouldn't be the bar for Liverpool. That shouldn't be the standard that we're looking for. We should want owners that are ruthlessly ambitious and want to win at all costs. And, you know, I think Mo in the video the other night explained very well why they aren't good enough. Why we're one of the few clubs in the 92-team English football pyramid that have had no owner investment of their own money into the squad or into the team. And that isn't a bad thing. It isn't a dirty thing. It isn't against the rules. I find them greasy. I don't trust them. And the more I learn about them, and the more I look into it, and the more I know how they manipulate the media and the coverage around Liverpool, and that they reward the people who do the bidding for them, and they make sure to freeze out and undermine the others, I hate them. I can't say that clearly enough. I fucking hate them. And I won't set foot in Anfield again until they're gone. Ryan, happy birthday, my friend. Celebrate my birthday today. Would have been nice if I had a birthday present of some signed contracts. Doubtful over the summer business. Well, I hope you have a good day, or you have had a good day, Ryan. And happy birthday to you, my man. We're just a possession of investment to them. Yeah. I don't see goodness in them. I just don't. And you add into all that the absentee nature of it as well. And that, they now have more and more sports teams under their belt, and they're looking at maybe an NBA team down the line, and they're investing into golf. And I just think, just fuck off. You own Liverpool Football Club. You should wake up thinking about it, go to sleep thinking about it, and no stone should be left unturned trying to make it better. And I just don't see that with them. Pasky said Robbo or Costas are going to have to be brilliant on the weekend against Kluivert. I feel for Robbo. He's been exceptional for many years. So, look, I think the Kluivert stuff's a little bit match of the day fever, to be honest with you. Because he's had a few moves around to get to this point. And he's certainly doing really well at the minute at Bournemouth. But I'm not convinced that he's the greatest thing since sliced bread just yet. And I'm not overly nervous about the game of the weekend. I still think if we show up, we win. If we play well, we win. Because we're a better football team with better players. With more experience. So, yeah. I'm not relaxed about it because it's going to be a tough game, but I'm not as scared going into it as maybe some people seem to feel around the game. I get being doubtful about business, but I don't at the same time, because all three aren't going to stay. At least one will leave. We need to replace it. And I've no problem with one, Harry. In fact, I've probably started to make peace with the idea of Trent going in my head. But, one I think we can live with as a fan base. Wouldn't be happy about it, but I think we would live with it. But if it's two or more, I think these contract renewals will either be a situation that sees them hounded out of the club by fans if they're not sorted out, or maybe they even change of heart and they get the contracts done and we get some good business in the summer and we push on and look forward to life with Arne Slot and we can stop talking about FSG again for a while. Liverpool win on Saturday with a better team. Predict 2-1, said Abdul. Imagine if they invested a bit more, this team would have collected many more titles this year and could have had us eclipsing United's 20 and not equaling. Yeah, definitely. There'd have been a couple more league titles there, another Champions League probably, and we won't look back then on the best manager of our generation having won one of the big ones each. Pisses me off, and I feel like that's down to the lack of investment from them. Ajax are fuming with Jordan Henderson. Well, at least he's not our problem anymore. He's off trying to save football in France now. He's conquered football in Saudi Arabia. Already absolutely boxed that one off. Ran over to the Netherlands there just to, restore pride in Dutch football and save Dutch football. Mission completed. And now he fancies a little bit of a tax-free haven in Monaco. So you know what I mean? He's off there to save the Principality of Monaco. So yeah, look, the man is the Bono of football. He's out there saving the world. What can you say? Real Madrid will look to sign Joshua Kimmich if they fail to reach an agreement to sign Trent. And I hope they do fail. And I hope they are left frustrated and angry. Yeah, I do. Code Mastery said, Craig, I don't know why people are worried about Saturday. Yes, they're in good form, but who's top of the league? And there's a reason for that. Exactly. And also look at our history against them. We do quite well against Bournemouth over the years. I cover it in the video tomorrow in the preview. I go through our recent history against them. Oh, it's so funny seeing Hendo throw his toys out of the pram again, by the way, because I remember when he was leaving, bluntly calling out his bollocks and being told, no, he's doing what's best for his family and he's such a good guy and, Hendo, I get weak at the knees, Hendo. Ultimately, the manager, this is how I see it, Klopp went to bat for him, got him a contract extension at the club, Hendo goes away, gets into fantastic shape before the season, throws his toys out of the pram then, because he doesn't feel like he's guaranteed game time. Gets his move away. That doesn't work out. Gets another move. It's not working out. Throwing his toys out of the pram at Ajax. And I think this carefully meticulated, curated PR image of Henderson is being shown up to be, again, just media fluff. I'm not saying he's a bad guy, by the way, not at all. And he captained Liverpool brilliantly when he was here. With distinction, like, absolutely. But, again, you know, I don't like this perception in some parts of the media that everybody's all good all the time and nobody's in any way selfish and nobody's a bit of an arsehole every now and again. You don't get to any level of anything in life without having a bit of a ruthless, selfish streak in you. The grass isn't always greener for players that leave. It's been proven time and time again. Look, let me say this about Trent. If he goes to Real Madrid, it won't be 3 months before they're waving the handkerchiefs and hissing him and booing him, and the media's tearing into him, and whatever he thinks about life at Liverpool, multiply that by 50. Because if you think the English media are bad, the Spanish football media will absolutely rinse Trent if he makes a mistake. And I'm not talking about, you know, little snide side digs. I mean fucking front pages of newspapers. Ruthless shit, like. Absolutely ruthless. Chris said, I think Klopp left over lack of investment. It's worked out well for us, though. I think it's part of it, Chris, you know. I think what Jurgen said about energy, and that I believe, but why is that energy removed? I don't think there was enough pushing on that one. I think myself, for what it's worth, a little bit of the PGMOL and the whole nonsense around the state of refereeing, a little bit around the owners and the lack of spending, and then genuine pressure from the job and the toll it takes on anybody managing a club at the top level. I think you factor in all of those things, and maybe a man at that age as well, starting to think about his own mortality in life. You know, you can see he certainly looks healthier, happier, younger, fresher, since he's had a bit of a breather. And I can totally sympathise with that. Football is, I imagine at that level, when you are the figurehead of a club the size of Liverpool, it's an all-consuming thing. Hi Craig and crew, long-time fan and pool fan of nearly 30 years, but I just subscribed to a membership of the channel. Just wanted to say keep up the good work and path you're on. You seem a lot happier. Appreciate you, Marty, thank you. You know what, I have become a bit happier, Marty, because I've learned a lot over the past... Look, it's been a tough month, as I've said, but I've learned that I have so many people that have my back, and with the amount of messages and emails of support and kindness that I've got, you know, that means so much to me. And that's the reason why I haven't looked to sell up the business. I haven't decided one way or the other on it wholeheartedly. I haven't yet, but I feel we've unfinished business as a community, and I feel like I want us to be the Liverpool channel that gets to 1 million, because somebody's got to do it. And I feel like, and I'm going to be fucking blunt about this, I feel like we're the most honest one. And I'm not talking about other channels that are great and do very good work. The likes of Cop Issue, I think, are brilliant. I'm talking about the ones at the top side here. At the minute, you know, your us is your Redmens or whatever. I think we're the best. I think we're the most honest. I think we're the most approachable. I think we're the ones that shoot from the hip, speak honestly. And if anyone's going to fucking do it, I want it to be us. And I'm an ultra competitive son of a bitch as well. But it'd be nice to get to 300 first, which is the aim here. Yeah, like little by little, we've been chipping away, reeling in, getting closer, getting closer, getting closer. We're the most viewed, watched fan channel, Liverpool fan channel in the world. You know, that's amazing. But I take it as a personal affront that this sounds so arsey. I take it, take it as a personal affront that these fuckers are burying their heads in the sand on the owners and not calling it out. I take it personally, because you call yourself fans and representative of a fan base, but you're not saying what fans are thinking. And I'm not talking about having to go to the extremes that I go to. I'm talking about basic stuff that you're not calling out, and then having the cheek to talk that you're fans. You're not representing the fans. You're representing your back pockets and your own access, and that's cool. But just know they're going to be called out for that. Love Ireland, said Mohammed. Thank you, mate. Appreciate you. We're a good little country. We're good people. David, how are you, bro? Appreciate you. Always do. Thank you. Would you rather eat broccoli for 1 month or be chased by broccoli for 1 year? Oh, God. Probably to be chased by broccoli for 1 year, because ironically I'd end up getting fitter then, right? Because I'd have run off some of the fat. So yeah, that one. I'll take the being chased by broccoli. Do I miss Thiago? Yes, I was an unashamed Thiago sexual. When that man played football, he did something to me. Like, honestly, Thiago in his pomp at his best, it's art. I wouldn't even call it football. It's just beautiful. It stirs something in my soul seeing that man play the game the way he did. It's honestly, I know people will look back at Thiago's time at Liverpool and rightly feel a little bit, up and down on it. But I'm truly somebody that just feels like I'm so happy that I got to see Thiago in a Liverpool shirt. I got to see, for me, one of the most talented natural footballers of his generation that was unlucky with injuries and his body let him down a bit. To see him in a Liverpool shirt and know he represented Liverpool Football Club, I'll always love that. Always. Do you think anybody will sign by Monday? I'm not expecting it, Dale, mate. I'm not. It would come certainly as a very pleasant surprise, but I'm not expecting it, mate. I'm still trying to figure out if Darwin was actually ill last night, by the way. I hope he was. Most people feel he was. I'm just, again, a cynical old fool. And I found it very convenient that the day where lots of talk around strikers and transfer windows is happening, he's unwell. But I guess we'll see at the weekend. He played the game the way you want your eyes to witness the game, and it was elegance. Exactly that. He was just fluidity in motion. It was just beautiful. Like, it was everything that is amazing about football. Thiago had the touch, the vision, the perception, the movement, the manipulation of his body, all of it, the vision. Like they say about many of the greats, the game slows down for them and everything looks like they've got time and space. And Alonso had a lot of that as well, particularly around the time and space thing. And the greats do that. They make it look easy. Imagine a mid three of Thiago, Gerrard and Alonso. That would have just been ridiculous. Honestly. I do feel, though, you probably do need the Mascherano type player in there alongside them as well. The little Yorkie biting at their ankles, the little terrier in there as well. JCF 102 said, surely we aren't stupid enough to sell a striker mid-season without an immediate replacement. I'd imagine so. I'd hope so. But, I'm just saying, I'm cynical. So I always think worst case scenario when these things happen. Joshua said, unpopular opinion, we were only able to get Thiago from Bayern because he was injury prone. 100% agree. Absolutely. Thiago was a player that, in my mind, when we signed him, you're thinking to yourself, give me 25 games a season. You know, be there for the Man Cities, the Arsenals, the Uniteds, the knockout stages of the Champions League. You know, you're not going to be playing him twice a week. Just roll him out for the big ones. You know, manage his fitness and his injuries, and just give me 25 games a season from him. That was my thought when he came in. But as I said, I'll never have any regrets about him playing for Liverpool. John said, thoughts on Steven Gerrard as a manager? Do you think he'll get many more chances? I was only thinking about this, John, the other day, and the answer to it is yes, I think he'll get more chances, but I think he'll only get them because of his name. He'll have the Wayne Rooney factor, where clubs will take a chance on him because they think it'll increase the eyes on their club, and chairman will think maybe it'll bring some financial benefits to the club. I don't think he'll get jobs based off anybody being blown away by his tactical acumen or anything like that. I feel like he moved through the gears a little bit too quickly as a coach. Should have stayed a bit longer at Liverpool. Should have stayed a bit longer at Rangers. And I think the fact that Unai Emery came in after him to Aston Villa and turned that squad around so much reflects poorly on him. And then he took the idea of going over to Saudi, where if you're being kind, you say you're going over to rebuild, get a few quid and come back. But he failed over there. So, you know, it's hard to make any case. You put him in the group with Rooney, Lampard, in the former players that had a pop but didn't work out as a coach. Kevin, you've put in a load of posts, mate. I can't comprehend what most of them are, mate. Sorry, I'm trying to interact with you, but I've no... That's your problem I'm having a go at. I've no idea what that means, mate. Taco, I like the content, but the transfer stuff, I don't know what that means either. Again, I come into streams and I'm led by the chat a lot of the time. So if the chat wants to talk about transfers, we talk about transfers. I'm here talking about Thiago now, which has got nothing to do with transfers. So I've no idea what you expect from me. I've no idea what you'd like me to do. But we're in the middle of a transfer window. And players' contracts are running down. So we're going to be talking about the transfer window and players' contracts running down. You know, again, if it's not for you, I get it, man. I understand it. No hard feelings, but you know. The transfer will not happen if Craig is posting, sorry for being blunt, not one target, joined the last 2 seasons. Right, so let's just get this one straight. If you're upset about any of the topics or the transfer targets, you need to understand one very important fact, Taco. I don't write the fucking stories. So if you have a bee in your bonnet about the players that I mentioned not signing, my suggestion would be to go to the good old journalists that have been writing the stories, to sell the papers and the media sources, and have a little pop at them. Because never once do I say these things are happening. Bellingham, I was involved in that part. But these aren't my stories, bro. I'm not a journalist. I'm a fucking fan. So you can't read a thumbnail. There's always a question mark or a bit of grammar that suggests it's a topic or a question or a phrase or a jumping off point. And I've explained it for you. Yeah, but you say it's just your opinion. But it's an ill-informed opinion that I'm trying to correct you on. You can't understand the thumbnails or the topics of the videos, and you think it's me saying these things are happening. It isn't. And I'm trying to explain that to you. And now you're getting very defensive towards me, bro. So, you know, it is what it is. But if you want to cry arse about any of these players, go to the journalists that I always credit for the stories and cry arse to them. I'm not a fucking journalist. I'm a fan. It's not that hard to comprehend, my man. It isn't. And that this is me being nice, by the way. You know, I'm trying to give you the benefit of the doubt. But, you know, let's look at tonight's title, shall we? Slot confirms big summer. So, is that not fucking straightforward enough now? And then I come in and I tell you exactly what Arne Slot has said, and we talk about it, and we ask people their opinions of it. I don't understand how that's hard to figure out. If you've seen the thumbnail where I absolutely tell you that something's happening, hold me to account for it. If I come and say, Liverpool are 100% signing X or Y, and it doesn't happen, absolutely, I deserve everything that comes my way. Oh my God. It's people like you that make me want to give up, because you're either just willfully ignorant or you're just trying to wind me up. And it's tiring, because I don't fucking drag you in here. If you don't like what I say, don't feckin' watch. Don't watch. Why do you give these haters so much space to get up your arse? Because it's tiring, man. It's tiring. And when you're insecure, and I'm a very insecure person, you know, so the argument is always, why does the content creator have to do nothing? Like, why do I let them get up my arse? The real question is, why do people come in and moan about shit if they don't like it? That's what I struggle with. Like, you tell me not to bite, fair enough, but imagine what it's like on this side of it. People running in to give out to you about something. It's difficult. And my thought process is, if you don't like something, don't watch it. Like anything else. If I don't like a radio station, I won't listen to it. If I don't like a TV show, I won't watch it. I won't ring up BBC or RTE and start shouting at them and going, how dare you? I don't like this. Don't watch it. It's not fucking hard. Bit harsh? Nah, not at all. That's me being kind. I can be a lot harsher and a lot more blunt. What's my Mackey's order? Do you know what? I haven't had a McDonald's in Jesus, I'm trying to think of the last McDonald's I had. I think I've gotten to that age where if I have a McDonald's, I feel down after about an hour. Like the energy levels just disappear. And I crash. So I don't really eat it. I don't eat McDonald's much. I don't eat Burger King much. But what would it be? Probably 2 double cheeseburgers and 6 nuggets with a curry dip. Something like that. Yeah, probably that. 2 double cheeseburgers and nuggets with a curry dip. Sweet curry dip from McDonald's is delicious. Have we done a breast 11? Not quite, but God, I'd happily do the research for that video, mate. Happily. Have I ever eaten broccoli? Or have you just genuinely hate it? Oh yeah, I've eaten it. It's disgusting. There are some things that I will admit to you that I've disliked purely off looking at them or smelling them. So, as an example, I've decided a very long time ago that I don't like prawns, but I've never eaten a prawn. I decided a very long time ago that I don't like cauliflower. I've never eaten cauliflower, but broccoli I have tasted, yeah, and it's awful. It's it's awful. I just don't get any, just the texture of those little florets or whatever you call them, those little fucking things getting stuck in your throat, and oh no, makes me cringe. Do you know what? One food though that I did try and immediately vomited was liver. I remember that as a kid, being at a friend's house after school. His mum made a nice homemade dinner, mashed potatoes, onions and liver, and I'd never tried liver before, and I tried it and I oh god, this is embarrassed, but I vomited straight on the plate in front of the whole family. I couldn't keep it down. Like, it was so bad. It was just so, everything about it just, oh. And my wife's the very opposite, by the way. We're so contrasting as people. My wife would eat liver, kidneys all day. eat broccoli, cauliflower, sweet corn, vegetables all day. Like out there in my kitchen right now, she's batch cooking salmon, broccoli, chicken, sweet potato, loads of stuff for herself because she's been on a mad health kick for the last 6 months and, you know, doing really well in the gym and looking after herself. And I walk out to the kitchen and just the smell of it in the kitchen just makes me want to run outside and scream. Tib Rickley said broccoli's the worst thing in existence. It's pretty shocking. What's your favourite dinner? I think a good old-fashioned Sunday roast. Yeah, I'm Irish, so meat and potatoes is always welcome. Yeah, good old Sunday roast or homemade chicken curry or a pizza or a kebab. A homemade... I have this dinner that I make a lot of the time where my wife goes to the butcher, gets me chicken fillets. I marinate them in the Nando's medium marinade and then cook them on my Opti grill. And then pull it apart and put it into a flatbread and then drown it in ketchup because that's just the type of weirdo I am. And that's one of my favourite dinners. Chicken breast marinated in Nando sauce with ketchup on a flatbread. Steak and chips is my go-to meal with peppercorn sauce, said Code Mastery. Yeah, we went out for our company's Christmas dinner, if you want to call it that, this month because we had to do it later because we were busy all the way through December, and we went down for good quality steak, like good expensive steak, and I never regret it. I never do. I love a good steak. Drown it in ketchup, right? So my wife thought that was weird, right? Because my wife doesn't like the Nando's chicken marinade. And I said to her one day, look, Sabrina, who doesn't really eat ketchup, by the way, I said, just taste this for me. And I dipped the chicken with the marinade in the ketchup. And I said, just taste that. And she tasted it and she went, oh my God, that actually works. It was one of those things, she thought I was mad till she tasted it. And then she had to admit that for some reason, the Nando's marinade and ketchup just works. Was it Wagyu? No, I've never had Wagyu beef. No, it was, I had fillet steak. It was actually fillet steak on the bone that I had and when we went out. But no, I've never had Wagyu. Like, it's not a good meal out for me if you don't have the meat sweats by the end of it. You know, if you're not sweating after consuming too much meat, I don't think it's a proper dinner. Mine is a feast of ice cream. Nice. Not really a massive ice cream either, to be honest with you. I'm a big cake and pastry person though. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say goodnight. Unsure if I'll be live or not tomorrow night. There will be content coming out tomorrow. We've got the preview that's coming out at, I think 10:30 or 11 in the morning. I'm going on Anfield Index to record a podcast with them tomorrow as well. And we'll have our news video coming out. Unsure though on the stream or not. We'll see what the news is like. Because, you know, I don't want to be disappointing people with transfer stories or anything. So, much love and thank you to everyone that joined us. Embrace, welcome to Anfield Agenda FC, my man. Thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate you. And have a good one, folks. Thanks for dropping in. We'll talk to you tomorrow.